Tewa kewa kunyo, one wig lakle down sheyo, weaya, ho weaya, ho we o weayo, we o we, ho we o we o haya, we o we, ho we o we o haya, we o we haya. All right, folks, I've talked a lot about this subject, false fear, conquering false fear. We're going to title this Conquering False Fear, this talk, but I want to kind of just focus strictly on that for a moment. Some of this will be a repeat, but I truly believe often repeating things over and over again can help for us to see them in different ways, to think about them in different ways, to consider them in different ways. So I think it's valuable. I think in this world where we get our answers really quickly from Wikipedia and other places, we think we know something. We really don't know anything. So going over a thing over and over can be really powerful. Now, there's a point when it gets annoying too, of course. But let's see where we can go with this. So I want to repeat, just let it stand out. Conquer false fear. Fear, F-E-A-R. The acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. It's what keeps us from going into nature. Bugs, the fear of bugs, the fear of bears, the fear of getting lost, the fear of being cold, the fear of being too hot. It's what keeps us from flourishing with the natural world by climbing that tree. It's what keeps us from climbing that tree. Oh, we might fall. It's what keeps us from going into that water. It might be too cold. It's what keeps us from going down that trail. We don't know what's around the corner. It's what keeps us from drinking that water. It might be bad for us. You know, it's on and on and on. There's that voice in the back of your head that just torments you with what the can'ts. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. Put it to sleep. Be smart. There are some things you can't do. They are not okay. Your body is skin and bone, and it will break. There are things that can happen, but use your intelligence. Use your intuitive side, your inner vision, which we've talked about, your sixth sense, to let you know when those times come up and it's not okay. Then pay attention. But if your inner vision's not telling you, and your intelligence isn't telling you, don't climb that cliff because you're going to slip and fall, then put the false fear aside and give it a shot. To experience nature more deeply without false fear is to be one with the earth. To experience nature more deeply without false fear is to be one with the earth. To experience nature more deeply without false fear is to be one with the earth. That's a mantra. When you're one with the earth, it's what we're talking about. You will take on becoming an earth caretaker, and you will protect her and care for her and live your life in a way that honors the earth. And you'll have a hell of a lot more fun, a hell of a lot more joy, a hell of a lot more adventure. I mean, that brings up a point for me. False fear keeps us from having adventure. I see so many kids today who are truly over-controlled. Oh, you can't go out, honey. It's too dangerous out there. When I was the kid growing up, my parents kicked me out the door into the woods, and I was on my own, man. And so many from my generation, I'm 65, say the same thing. Today, I'm not faulting parents. I know they get scared. I know it's real. But when you don't allow your kid to get in the mud, to walk down trails, climb trees, you're keeping them from experiencing the earth and connecting the earth. And they may never do it in their life. Where the connection becomes foundational, rooted within a person, is in childhood. To have to reclaim that because you didn't get it in childhood as an adult is not impossible, but so much more difficult. If a child can be rooted in a love of the earth at a young age, it will stay with them forever. And even if they forget it, they'll come back to it. Adventure is a key to this. And false fear is what keeps us from adventure. You have to be willing. I mean, I think of one time I took myself and my friends. There was this creek where I grew up. I think we were about 11. There was a creek where I grew up called Stevens Creek. And there was a rainstorm that created a flood. Now, part of us was definitely foolish. We got a one-man raft, and about 4 of us got into it. Blew that sucker up, and we headed down the creek towards the San Francisco Bay. Branches were trying to cut our heads off. I mean, I'm telling you, we could have drowned. We didn't know how to swim, but we could have hit rocks and drowned. But we screamed, we yelled, we loved the water, we loved the creek, we saw wildlife. At the end, we got calm water, and we went to the San Francisco Bay and floated into the eddies of it. I'll never forget it. Now, I didn't tell my parents that. They didn't need to know it, but I had to have that adventure. I used to climb trees, not even a thought. One of the reasons why is my life so rich today? Because I love trees and I know them personally. Because I spent countless hours climbing them, building tree houses, and living in them as a kid. We had a class come up here a while back, and I always have kids climb trees. My insurance company wouldn't cover it. I take the risk and do it anyway. I take a risk and do it anyway because I believe strongly kids need to climb trees. You didn't hear this, don't tell the insurance company. And a mother who came as a chaperone, she went back and she prevented us from ever letting kids climb trees again. Now, I've never had an accident. Could one happen? Yes, it could. But there's so many things in life. If you overprotect a child, or if you overprotect yourself as an adult, you miss the glory of being alive on this earth. You miss interacting with our earth in a viable way that allows you to be an earthling, full earth keeper, earth caretaker person. Now, I'm going to repeat, I'm not saying do crazy, stupid stuff. There are some people out there that, like I've always admired these guys that fly in these flying suits. I would love to do that, but I think that's too dangerous. For me, it's too dangerous. But it's their life. If they want to do it, that's their business. But I can admire it, but it doesn't keep me from doing countless other things. So conquer false fear, false evidence appearing real. Allow yourself to have adventures. Go create them. Look at maps. Aldo Leopold once said, I don't think I want to live for the day when there's not a blank spot on the map. I can remember as a kid in high school sitting with my friends and looking at topographical maps and going, that's the wildest place in the Sierra Nevada mountains. We're going to go. And we went. When the summer came, we went. We threw our backpacks on and we went. And my God, that was foundational for me. It's going to be different for every person. Every person's body, every person's mind is going to have different tolerances. Get to know yourself. Honor yourself. But push the limits. Push the edges. Be an explorer. I mean, if we read historical books, almost all of us get fire in us thinking about the great explorers. Like I've often said, I have friends, and we've talked about that. We'll tell stories to each other, talk story, and we'll go. If you could go back in time and you could be completely safe, no danger, where would you go, and who would you be with? I've often said Lewis and Clark, or Captain Cook, the English captain who sailed around the world 3 different trips, discovered Hawaii for the modern world, went up the coast of California, or Lewis and Clark who took off from the east and went to the west, in the wild lands. That's what I'd want to be. I'd want to be with one of them. I get sad sometimes thinking we don't have that opportunity today to do that. There's no place to be a Lewis and Clark or a Captain Cook. But there are other adventures awaiting us. There are other adventures awaiting us in this world. We just have to discover them or be curious. Another great word. Curious and explore. Conquer false fear. Go for it. Be adventurous. It will make your life a thing of beauty. It will make your life, you will naturally become more spiritual, more more reverent, a deeper human being. On all levels, it will affect you in a good way. And hopefully you'll live through it. Hope.